Good morning. I am Deputy Senior Drill Sergeant Leader Sims, your Master of Ceremony. We would like to extend a warm welcome to Colonel Phillips, Command Sergeant Major Della Pena, Command Sergeant Major Torres, and their families, distinguished guests, families, and friends, to the United States Army Drill Sergeant Academy graduation ceremony for Class 014-25. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the entrance of the official party, the invocation given by Major Mooneyham, and the playing of our national anthem.
As I lead this invocation in a manner that honors my own tradition, I invite you to join me silently in a manner that honors your own faith or conscience. Let's pray. Almighty God, today we honor the graduation of Drill Sergeant Academy Class 014-25, 1st Platoon. Your scriptures tell us that you aid our remembrance of the things we diligently study. As the Army's best NCOs go to their respective assignments, I ask that you remind them of all they've learned and empower them to prepare our newest soldiers to be lethal and competent in their tasks and battlefields, ready for the Army's future missions. In your mighty name I pray. Amen.
Please be seated. Since 1964, drill sergeants have been responsible for training our Army's volunteer fighting force. Fort Jackson is home to the only drill sergeant academy in our Army and is responsible for providing drill sergeants to every training center across the initial military training enterprise. Since its inception, the purpose of the United States Army Drill Sergeant Program is to transform non-commissioned officers into drill sergeants, who in turn have the responsibility to transform civilians into soldiers, our national treasure. The thousands of American young men and women who have volunteered to answer the call of a grateful nation. The job of a drill sergeant is one of a professional trainer, coach, mentor, and leader. This is not an easy or simple job, and it comes with sacrifices that each drill sergeant must make in order to perform this extremely important mission. Those who are graduating today will spend the next 2 to 3 years on the trail, training the next generation of our Army. The phrase, "on the trail," comes from the frontier days, when cattle were driven from California to Colorado to be marketed. The original drill sergeants coined this phrase because of the similar process of moving soldiers from one place to another with few problems or loss along the way. There is a continued effort to move drill sergeants to that high degree of excellence and expertise for which they are known. The drill sergeant course is both stressful and challenging. The 9 weeks of training are broken down into 12-hour days, adding up to 446 hours of instruction. This training is a privilege reserved for the best of the best. Only the top 10% of all sergeants, Army-wide, are eligible to attend the drill sergeant course. Not all sergeants complete this difficult period of training. On May 1st, 2025, candidates arrive. During the course, 36 sergeants were removed for various reasons, with 11 being inserted, resulting in the 92 that are graduating here today. Those graduating represent discipline, motivated, physically fit drill sergeants who exemplify the drill sergeant creed. All 92 drill sergeants truly are the proud example of our Army and will undoubtedly transform the next generation of civilian volunteers into soldiers that are fully capable of defeating any enemy on today's modern battlefield. Ladies and gentlemen, identified by their distinctive headgear and pistol belt are the drill sergeant leaders responsible for having trained and mentored today's graduating class. Drill sergeant leaders instruct the course in a small group of 20 candidates on average. They are highly motivated, professional, and seasoned drill sergeants who have a minimum of 1 year experience in the initial entry training environment from any of the 4 training centers and advanced individual training locations. They were hand-selected to serve as drill sergeant leaders. As a result of demonstrating expert leadership, mastery of warrior task and battle drills, and consistently performing at the top 1% of their peers. In addition, all have completed the TRADOC Drill Sergeant Leader Certification Program. Please join me in a round of applause for their hard work and dedication. Ladies and gentlemen, the Commandant of the United States Army Drill Sergeant Academy, Command Sergeant Major Joshua Armato.
Here we go! All right, team. Hey, we're going to bring the motivation here. That's what we do at the United States Army Drill Sergeant Academy. Well done, team. And what a great day. Wow. Look at all these families. Drill sergeants, you are supported. You are supported well. Do not take that for granted. And so we're going to start this out. We're going to do some training this morning. And so there's a response, right? So good morning. No, that's not it, right? If you haven't noticed, we bring some energy around here. So good morning. Good morning. All right, now I'm fired up a little bit, and we're going to continue to march. Command Sergeant Major De La Pena, Command Sergeant Major Torres, Ed Bell, brother down there, thank you for being here today. You add a tremendous amount of honor and prestige to this already distinguished occasion. Family, friends, distinguished guests, thank you for joining us today for the Drill Sergeant Academy graduation ceremony for Class 01425. From the attendance today, it is clear these drill sergeants have amazing families and friends supporting them. What a great day to be a soldier. Even better day to be here, surrounded by the future of the United States Army, represented by the Army's newest drill sergeants, graduating here today. The fact that the United States Army Drill Sergeant Academy is the gold standard for NCO development and cadre certification is clearly on display today. My name is Command Sergeant Major Josh Byler. I am the Commandant, proudly serving alongside the most highly motivated and well-trained drill sergeants in the United States Army. Those drill sergeant leaders you saw that came up here looking great in those hats and belts. Let me get one more round of applause for them. If you look at the number, it is the chosen few who make drill sergeants. A drill sergeant is the standard bearer for the United States Army and the very epitome of what we expect of a soldier. They live the Army values, exemplify the warrior ethos, and are guardians of the Army profession. Drill sergeants are responsible for coaching, teaching, motivating, inspiring, and mentoring the future of the Army as they transform them from civilians to American soldiers. A typical day as a drill sergeant starts before dawn, ends well after sundown. Drill sergeants are the first impression for every trainee. and all that they know of the Army. Drill sergeants, make no mistake, your trainees will emulate you. Being a drill sergeant is one of the most demanding and difficult jobs in our Army. It is also one of the most rewarding. How critical a drill sergeant is to our Army cannot be overstated, nor can the sacred trust that is being bestowed on you today. American families, like many of these, all across this great land, entrust you with the most important thing in their lives, their children. The future of America is being placed in your care for the most formative time in their Army careers, certainly. But I would also say their lives. Your impact will last a lifetime. Just as you remember your drill sergeants, so will the soldiers you train remember you. Command Sergeant Major retired Roderick McCottrell and Staff Sergeant Ronnie Bush were mine, just in case you were wondering. Will you be remembered for how you invested in them, believed in them when they didn't believe in themselves, always enforced the standard and challenged them to keep going? Or will you be remembered for something else? Class 01425, congratulations on accomplishing this daunting challenge. You met or exceeded every standard. You surmounted every obstacle. But the challenge is just beginning. Enjoy the time between now and when you report. Take time to reflect on the challenge that lies ahead and what you hope to achieve. There will be times when you are tired, hot, cold, hungry, and more. Look to your battle buddies during those times and spur one another along. Your experience as a drill sergeant will be directly impacted by the battle buddies you have and are. The task is great. You're charged with nothing less than training tomorrow's leaders. The Army, the country, and the Constitution are dependent on you. Today's guest speaker needs no introduction. He enlisted in the Army, he told me in 95, with a split training option, and graduated in 96 as a combat engineer. He has held every leadership position from team leader to his present position as the Division Command Sergeant Major for the 82nd Airborne Division. The long list of assignments in numerous organizations demonstrate his exceptional performance. Distinguished Honor Graduate, Leadership Award. Distinguished Honor Graduate, Leadership Award. Broken record, right? Demonstrate his character and stewardship of the profession. Please join me in a Drill Sergeant Academy welcome for All-American 9, Command Sergeant Major Randolph Delapine.
All right. Y'all fired up? Oh, come on. Y'all fired up? I know what the drill sergeant leaders told you to do because they told me to do the same thing in 2004. Stay quiet and clap 2 times. All right, that has not changed now over 21 years. Okay. Distinguished guests, thank you for attending today. Our family and friends of those and teammates that I see a couple other drill sergeants in the room and mentors that are in the room. Importantly, our Army's newest drill sergeants. Thank you to the DSLs and cadre who work on this daily, who put the work in to ensure that our Army continues to run, because without our Drill Sergeant Academy and without our drill sergeants, there is no soldiers, and without no soldiers, there is no Army. So please give them a round of applause. I want to also thank the family, friends, and mentors that supported our candidates here that are about to become a drill sergeant as they cross this stage. That's not an easy milestone that these NCOs have endured, and I know it doesn't come without help. So please give those families, friends, and mentors a round of applause. And I want to remain humble to remind those families that are here and the ones that are not here, that may be on virtual world or when you get back, thank you for the sacrifice that you're about to endure for 2 to 3 years. And I will tell you, it will be a sacrifice. This job does not come easy. This job does not come with the best hours. This job does not come with the stress of normal jobs. It comes with a high level of stress, because at the end of the day, we're doing the Army's job of making America soldiers, and it doesn't come easy. It comes with 6-day work weeks, some days 7-day work weeks, and most of you will bear the brunt of that. And I want to say thank you in advance. My family did it too and bared that brunt for 2.5 years as I was on the trail. So again, thank you in advance as you go through it. I ask you to stand by their side. I ask you when they get home and they're disgruntled, don't take it personal, but know to be there for them. And drill sergeants, my biggest advice to you that came from a mentor of mine when I became a drill sergeant is change in the office, take your hat off, take your vest off, and show up at home as a person you are. Don't show up at home to be a drill sergeant that you are. Okay, you got to take your hat off. I changed every day into civilian clothes and left my bay in civilian clothes to completely pull myself out of the environment to get to my house and be the husband I'm supposed to be. So remember that as you take it forward. I sat back and thought about what am I going to talk about here and what can I pass on to these future drill sergeants to take you and hopefully get you there. So I took myself back 2004. As the commandant said, I graduated the drill sergeant school for Leonard Wood. Something that me and him have in common is he graduated the class after me. It was a small class. If you saw the year 2004, we had just came out of the invasion of Iraq. My class size was 45 graduates. It was small and usually took in 200 was the size of the normal class for Fort Leonard Wood, and then his class was about 50 plus in there. So it was small classes, and we had a backlog of drill sergeants that weren't showing up because everybody was forwarded between Afghanistan and Iraq during that time, right after 9/11. So I graduated drill sergeant school for Leonard Wood in January, a kid coming out of Miami, born and raised, spent most of my time in North Carolina and Georgia up to that point. Then I showed up before Leonard Wood in January to 2 feet of snow, wearing a field jacket that I hadn't worn since I've been a private, because you had to wear the field jacket, no liner, black gloves, and green inserts that if you've ever worn those before had no help at all in the world to a boy from Miami that's freezing to death outside there. But I went through it. A significant emotional event in my life, for sure, with my drill sergeant leaders, Knight and Duncan. Definitely great people in my life, still to this day. And I sat back and said, man, what happened the first day? Well, I went to Fort Sill, Oklahoma, not Fort Leonard Wood, so I was upset, and I spoke to you all about that here a minute ago. Go to the job you're given. What's the best thing I got? Well, I got 3 things. And I got them from my first sergeant at Fort Sill when I arrived at my battery down there. And he sat me down and he gave me initial counseling. And he says, welcome. He said, first of all, ignore your battle buddies. They're going to be the first ones that get you mad. Okay? My battle buddies had all been extended for a 3rd year and told that they're not going to go to war. And during that time, that was a big thing. So all got extended to a 3rd year, didn't volunteer, a mandatory extension. They all wanted to deploy. They had been in TRADOC. So just imagine that atmosphere that I walked into as a deployed service member, first one in a long time prior to that point, walking into that group of drill sergeants. But they were great. They became my battle buddies, but some I learned not to do what they do. That's very clear. You must learn that while you're out there. So that's the first thing he told me. And then the second thing he told me is, don't forget where you came from, sergeants. Don't forget who you were before you put that drill sergeant hat on. The hat is a piece of uniform, but it doesn't change you. And he told me that. He's very clear on that. And he told me, look, when you became a team leader, who did you emulate? My team leader. When you became a squad leader, who did you emulate? My squad leader. You became a drill sergeant. Who are you going to emulate? And in my head right away, I'm like, my drill sergeant? He's like, wrong. Don't be your drill sergeant. Don't be the drill sergeant that you had. You don't understand what that drill sergeant was really doing, or you probably now that you went through this school said, man, my drill sergeant was wrong. Like he did things against the regulation. Don't be that person. Don't try to change. Some of them were real good. Mine were big in Jefferson. I don't forget them. But I can look back and say, man, I'm glad I didn't do some of the things they did to me. I wouldn't be in a good place. And did it help? So you got to think about that. Be the NCO you were before you got there. You're all great non-commissioned officers. That's why the Army put you here. Don't forget that. You were selected. Don't get it twisted. You were selected because of the NCO you were. Now what the schoolhouse is giving you the basics of being a drill sergeant. But being a drill sergeant is being a non-commissioned officer and being the best non-commissioned officer in the United States Army. And that's why you wear the badge. That's why you wear the hat. Okay? So remember that. That's number two. The third thing he said is lead by example. The commandant said it. They will emulate you. They want to be you. They want to be the drill sergeant and the person that just changed their life. You will impact them in 9, 22 weeks, whatever it is. Whatever your time is, you will change their lives. You will become their significant emotional event. And some of you are going to be their father and mother for the first time in many years. You're going to be the first mother and father they ever knew. Humble yourself to remember that. But at the end of the day, don't forget they emulate you. And I say that because I see it. And I was, before this job, I was a MISCO sergeant major at Fort Leonard Wood. And I saw it constantly, and I corrected it constantly. Drill sergeants, you're not above the law. There's 690-1 for a reason. There's Army regulations for a reason. If you cuff your sleeves in garrison, you're wrong. If you wear the wrong eyewear, you're wrong. But here's what's going to happen. That trainee now becomes a trooper, and he shows up to the 82nd Airborne Division, and there's a team leader knee-deep in him. And all he's going to think of is, why is this team leader knee-deep in me? And why is the division sergeant major correcting me? It happened this yesterday. I'm correcting you because your sleeves are cuffed. Why are your sleeves cuffed? What makes you think you can do that? You're a private. Where did you learn that? And guess what he looked at me and said? A day before I come out to the Drill Sergeant Academy. He says, my drill sergeant did this. Think about that. The regulation says you cannot do that. And the only time you can do that is when? In the field or at ranges. You know the rules. Don't break them. You have the ability to do what you want. Choose what's right. A good mentor of mine said, look, they make it in the Army. You do what's right. You do what your boss tells you to do. Then you do what you want to do. Most likely, you're never going to get to do what you want to do. Those other two are hard. Because we have rules and regulations. The only thing, the way this works, the only way Von Steuben taught us to beat the British is you had to be uniformed. You had to be disciplined. That's the blue book. That's the thing your lineage carries back. It's good order and discipline. And if the drill sergeants are breaking the rules, man, we're in a whole different place. And I will share an experience with you just because in my head it makes me laugh. I wasn't laughing that day. That drill sergeant didn't have a good day with me. Back then it was then MISCO Sergeant Major Delapena, and I'm doing PT in the footprint. And I see a drill sergeant standing, and I'm going to come from the back of the podium the best I can, and I'm going to move the mic. But I want to visualize what I saw. And this is what I saw. I got my hands in my pockets. For the family members here, that's unauthorized in the military uniform in the United States Army. You can do it in the Air Force, wrong service, okay? But you can't do it in the Army. It's very clear we can't do it. But he's standing there with his hands in his pockets, plain as day. So me, I run right to him. I won't allow, and I won't walk by from him. My drill sergeant badge starts glowing. This thing still has energy in it, okay? This thing has 13 stars. This will defend to the end. Till the end. The end is when I die. Good luck. I'll be that civilian walking around, trust me. Okay? I'll be that guy. Because we got to defend to the end. And we got brought up this way. So I get to the drill sergeant, and before I get to him, probably about 30 feet from him, and guess what he says? As he's staring at a bunch of trainees. I'll tell you what he says. Hey! Get your hands out your pockets! I had to stop. I was freaked out. Because he still had his hands in his pockets. I can't make this up. I then ran faster to him. And I got to him and I said, hey, drill sergeant, how you doing? He turned around, locked up at parade rest. All the way, Sergeant Major, how you doing? I'm not doing good right now. I need you to take some leave, drill sergeant. He said, what do you mean, Sergeant Major? I said, you're burned out, man. Go take some leave. I'm telling you right now. I'm directing you. Go to your commander. You need to take some leave. Sergeant Major, I'm good. I just got into cycle. I'm good. No, you're not good. Man, I just saw you yell at yourself and you didn't fix it. You yelled at yourself, made a correction on yourself, and you did not change. And of course he looked at me like, no, Sergeant Major, I was yelling at the trainees. I know who you're yelling at, guy. I know who you're yelling at. I'm just telling you, you had your hands in your pockets. Do you understand that? If I'm that trainee, I'm looking at you losing complete trust and confidence in you. I'm in my head, when I get nervous, I make you look like a clown. That's how I calm myself down. I start looking at clowns. Because I'm looking at you that way, drill sergeant. And fix yourself. You cannot correct what you're doing. In somewhere, you may have read something that says, oh, I will lead by example, never requiring a soldier to attempt any task I would not do myself, but first, last, and always. Man, it's deep in my heart. I will lead by example, never requiring a soldier to attempt any task I would not do myself. Take that to the grave. You should do what you're asking them to do. And what you're asking them to do is follow the Army regulations. And that's what you should be following. Take that to heart, drill sergeants, and don't let your battle buddies break that rule either. The minute you walk by that, you just created a culture. When that bay explodes and investigations start, you shouldn't be surprised. You shouldn't be surprised because you allowed a culture for that. So I share that with you. And then the last one, he says, remain humble and patient. That's the best one I ended with. Remain humble and patient. He said, don't forget you were a civilian once. Don't forget you don't have no clue what the Army is. And the problem is you are going from a space right now that PFC de la Peña, when you say, do this, he jumps. And he knows how to do it. You could tell me, go tie my shoe. And guess what I'm going to do? Tie my shoe with a bow. And I'll be good. You're about to meet Randy de la Peña, coming from Miami, 17 to 18 years old, and you're going to say, tie your shoe. And you know what I'm going to say? I don't have laces. I used to have Reebok strap-ons, man. I don't know how to tie my shoe, man. I wore Reebok strap-ons. If you're old enough in this crowd, you understand what Reebok strap-ons are, okay? I had them, man. I crisscrossed the straps. That's how you made them different, okay? For some of you that don't know, man, I just aged myself, and I don't want to know when you were born. Some of you are going to break my heart, all right? At the end of the day, I tell you that to remember to stay humble. It's not PFC de la Peña you just left in your unit you just walked away from. It's Randy de la Peña that has no clue what the hell you're saying. And the acronym you just used, I have no clue. So you must remain patient. You must remain humble. And you must remember who your training audience is. They're not the ones you just left. They're literally a civilian. They literally have no clue what you're talking about when you throw an acronym at them. So be patient, but train them and push them hard. But turn the thermostat up and down when needed. Okay? And at the end of the day, they're going to graduate in 9 weeks or 22 weeks. Here's my next warning to you. The next ones you get are not the ones you just graduated. That will frustrate you. Because you just spent 22 weeks or 9 weeks training them, and you're like, man, they look like them, they smell like them, but they're not them. It's a whole new Randy de la Peña showing up, so don't get frustrated. You got to start back from scratch again. You start speaking basic languages to them until you get them to the advanced language called Army lingo. Okay? So remember that. Remain humble, and don't forget, they are somebody's sons and daughters. They are somebody's loved one. Somebody out there loves them, and they've trusted them to us. And the trust is on you to not abuse them. The trust is on you to get them ready. And don't forget, teach the POI. Don't teach what you think you need to teach, because you don't know where they're going. That's what I pay good team leaders and squad leaders for in the division, to do their job and teach them their mettle. Your job is to teach them the basics. Stick to the POI. And don't forget, every night, take your hat off. And when I say take your hat off to them. And make sure you humble yourself and you become that NCO and you speak to them like an NCO too. Because at the end of the day, you want them to be successful. That's what my drill sergeants did. They took their hats off, actually. And they want us to be successful. They talk to us like human beings. Okay? Don't ever forget that. Don't ever forget where you came from. And at the end of the day, do your best to carry on the honor. It's truly an honor of a lifetime. Again, thank you to the Commandant. Thank you to the team for bringing me up there. It's truly an honor. My first time to speak to a drill sergeant graduating class since I've been in. And trust me, if anybody asks me what's the best job I've ever done in the Army, it's not team leader, it's not squad leader, it ain't platoon sergeant, it ain't first sergeant, it ain't sergeant major. It's actually being a drill sergeant. Because at the end of the day, I saw the end. I saw the end state, and I saw a product that I was proud to do. And at the end of the day, I've had 3 so far that are now first sergeants. One recently, about 3 months ago, that sent me an email out of nowhere, came to see me because he was on Fort Bragg, who's now a first sergeant going to the Sergeant Major Academy. Actually, this current class is sitting to say thank you. And I was one of his drill sergeants. I had to go pull out my yearbooks and figure it out. And I'm like, man, I'm old as hell if you're going to the Sergeant Major Academy at this point. But he sought me out. So that's what you should emulate. And that's what you should want, them to reach out to you at the end of the day. Again, truly an honor. Don't forget your commitment to the profession of arms. Don't forget your commitment to that badge that's been worn by many others prior to you. And don't forget what you stand for. Welcome to the team. And never forget, this will defend till the end. Okay? Airborne all the way.
The Drill Sergeant Academy would like to recognize the supporter of the cycle for his exceptional professionalism and dedication to excellence in support of the unit's total mission. Presenting the Supporter Award is Drill Sergeant Leader Barron. The supporter of the cycle is Mr. Mark Human. also known as Iceman. His behind-the-scenes attention to detail kept training on track with limited distractions. Please join me in a round of applause for the supporter awardee. Drill and ceremony is the basis for standards and discipline in the initial entry training environment. During the course, the drill sergeant candidates are instructed and assessed on their ability to perform and teach drill and ceremony positions and movements, culminating with a drill and ceremony competition. The squad that displayed the highest level of proficiency is awarded the drill and ceremony trophy to be displayed until the following cycle. For Class 014-25, the drill and ceremony competition winner is 1st Platoon, 1st Squad, who was led by Drill Sergeant Bird. Please join me in a round of applause for the winning squad of the drill and ceremony competition. At the Drill Sergeant Academy, it is tradition to appropriately recognize those who distinguish themselves by their outstanding performance. In keeping with this tradition, the following awards are presented. The Drill Sergeant Leader of the Cycle is the Drill Sergeant Leader who displayed the highest contribution to the entire platoon, created an impeccable learning environment, and displayed a standard for all graduating drill sergeants to follow. For Class 014-25, the Drill Sergeant Leader of the Cycle is Drill Sergeant Leader McNeil. At this time, the Commandant of the United States Army Drill Sergeant Academy, Command Sergeant Major Joshua R. Bido, will present the Drill Sergeant Leader of the Cycle with the Commandant's Coin for their outstanding leadership. Please join me in a round of applause for the Drill Sergeant Leader of the Cycle. Senior Drill Sergeant Leader Bonuelos will now present the graduating class their distinctive headgear. Please hold your applause and cheering until the awardees have been acknowledged. The Leadership Award is presented to the candidate who displayed the highest degree of professionalism and demonstrated sound judgment while performing in leadership positions. The Leadership Award recipient and member of the Commandant's List is Drill Sergeant Tierney, Fort Huachuca, Arizona. The Iron Drill Sergeant Award is given to the candidate who displayed the highest degree of physical fitness during the Iron Drill Sergeant Fitness Test. The Iron Drill Sergeant Award recipient is Drill Sergeant Caldwell, Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri, with a score of 591. Please join me in a round of applause. Ladies and gentlemen, the following drill sergeants are graduates of Class 014-25. Please hold your applause and cheering until the last drill sergeant is acknowledged.
Drill Sergeant Bascone, Fort Jackson, South Carolina. Drill Sergeant Albert, Fort Sill, Oklahoma.
Drill Sergeant Agbesto, Fort Jackson, South Carolina.
Drill Sergeant All, Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. Drill Sergeant Anderson, Fort Huachuca, Arizona. Drill Sergeant Andrews, 98 Training Division. Drill Sergeant Armstrong, Fort Benning, Georgia. Drill Sergeant Harriman, Fort Jackson, South Carolina. Drill Sergeant Nash, Fort Eustis, Virginia. Drill Sergeant Becklea, Fort Benning, Georgia.
Drill Sergeant Travis, Fort Benning, Georgia. Drill Sergeant Cox, Fort Benning, Georgia.
Drill Sergeant Silva, 98, training division.
Drill Sergeant Davis, Fort Jackson, South Carolina. Drill Sergeant Evans, Fort Jackson, South Carolina. Drill Sergeant Fagali, Fort Benning, Georgia. Drill Sergeant Garcia, Fort Gordon, Georgia.
Drill Sergeant Nathan, Fort Lee, Virginia. Drill Sergeant Graham, Fort Gordon, Georgia. Drill Sergeant Green, Fort Sill, Oklahoma.
Drill Sergeant Hannigan, 98, training division. Drill Sergeant Harris, Fort Sill, Oklahoma. Drill Sergeant Hawthorne, Fort Sill, Oklahoma.
Drill Sergeant Hernandez, Fort Benning, Georgia.
Drill Sergeant Higgs, Fort Lee, Virginia.
Drill Sergeant Hollister, Fort Jackson, South Carolina.
Drill Sergeant Hudson, 98, training division.
Drill Sergeant Johnson, Fort Sam Houston, Texas.
Drill Sergeant Caprico, Fort Lee, Virginia. Drill Sergeant Keplinger, Fort Leonardwood, Missouri. Drill Sergeant Cohen, Fort Leonardwood, Missouri.
Drill Sergeant Fox, Fort Leonardwood, Missouri.
Drill Sergeant Conklin, 95th Training Division.
Drill Sergeant Kaiser, 104th Training Division. Drill Sergeant Lee, Fort Sill, Oklahoma. Drill Sergeant Lewis, Fort Sill, Oklahoma. Drill Sergeant Loftus, Fort Sill, Oklahoma. Drill Sergeant Maverick, Fort Benning, Georgia.
Drill Sergeant McIntosh, Fort Benning, Georgia.
Drill Sergeant Martinez, 95th Training Division. Drill Sergeant McLean, Fort Lee, Virginia. Drill Sergeant Medina, Fort Jackson, South Carolina. Drill Sergeant Petrano, Fort Benning, Georgia.
Drill Sergeant Mello, Fort Sam Houston, Texas. Drill Sergeant Messer, Fort Lee, Virginia.
Drill Sergeant Michelle, Cedar, New Jersey.
Drill Sergeant Moten, Fort Lee, Virginia.
Drill Sergeant Jabo, 95th Training Division.
Drill Sergeant Perrin, Fort Jackson, South Carolina. Drill Sergeant Perez, 98th Training Division.
Drill Sergeant Commander Ruiz, Fort Jackson, South Carolina.
Drill Sergeant Rios, Fort Leonard, Missouri.
Drill Sergeant Ripto, Morehead, Kentucky. Drill Sergeant Roberts, Fort Jackson, South Carolina. Drill Sergeant Rogerson, Fort Benning, Georgia.
Drill Sergeant Louise, Fort Jackson, South Carolina. Drill Sergeant Sanchez, Fort Benning, Georgia.
Drill Sergeant San Miguel, Fort Jackson, South Carolina.
Drill Sergeant Camillo, Monterey, California.
Drill Sergeant Schreier, Fort Leonard, Missouri.
Drill Sergeant Silva, Fort Gordon, Georgia.
Drill Sergeant Silva, Fort Lee, Virginia. Drill Sergeant Smoke, Fort Sill, Oklahoma.
Drill Sergeant Slavinsky, Fort Gordon, Georgia.
Drill Sergeant Smolinski, Fort Littlewood, Missouri.
Drill Sergeant Smolinski, Fort Leonard, Missouri.
Drill Sergeant Sue, Fort Jackson, South Carolina.
Drill Sergeant Spencer, Fort Jackson, South Carolina. Drill Sergeant Talbert, Fort Jackson, South Carolina. Drill Sergeant Tobin, Fort Jackson, South Carolina. Drill Sergeant Toledo, 95th Training Division.
Drill Sergeant Torres, Diamond Air Reserve Base, Georgia.
Drill Sergeant Trask, Fort Benning, Georgia.
Drill Sergeant Tweeden, Fort Virginia.
Drill Sergeant Aldridge, 98th Training Division.
Drill Sergeant Usbo, Fort Huachuca, Arizona. Drill Sergeant Van Saun, Fort Benning, Georgia.
Drill Sergeant Miguel, Fort Sill, Oklahoma.
Drill Sergeant Watley, Fort Sill, Oklahoma.
Drill Sergeant Willis, Fort Benning, Georgia. Drill Sergeant Ward, Fort Gordon, Georgia. Drill Sergeant Hughes, Fort Gordon, Georgia.
Drill Sergeant Ray, Gulfport, Mississippi.
Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in a round of applause for the Army's newest drill sergeants. At this time, Leadership Awardee Drill Sergeant Tierney will present a token of appreciation to the guest speaker, Command Sergeant Major De La Pena.
Half class 014-25. Accept this token of appreciation for your kind words of wisdom.
This will defend.
You have become what you set out to be, a drill sergeant in the United States Army. The Drill Sergeant Creed is your declaration of your unshakable commitment to the ideals this nation was founded upon and continue to guarantee. At this time, drill sergeants past and present, please stand as the Drill Sergeant Leader of the Cycle, Drill Sergeant Leader McNeil, leads the graduating class in reciting the Drill Sergeant Creed. The Drill Sergeant Creed is not a creed for every non-commissioned officer in the Army. The honor and privilege is given to these non-commissioned officers to transform America's sons and daughters from civilians to soldiers to fight and win the wars of this great nation.
This will defend. I am the drill sergeant.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the playing of the Army song and remain standing for the departure of the official party. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated as the drill sergeants of Class 014-25 exit the building. You will be able to join them shortly.
Right, hey! Forward, hard. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Here we go! Lead the way! Come on, berserkers! Come on, berserkers! Come on, berserkers! Come on, berserkers! One day we all alone! One day we all alone! Way out there in the combat zone! Come on, 1, 3.
Come on, 1, 3.
Come on, 1, 3.
Come on, 1, 3.
One day be all alone.
One day we all alone.
Way out there in the combat zone.
We're out there in combat zone.
Bullets flying all around.
Bullets flying all around.
And keep your head to the ground.
And keep your heads to the ground.
Don't swear you're all alone.
Don't swear you're all alone.
Drill sergeant will bring you home.
Drill sergeant will bring you home.
This will defend.
This concludes our graduation ceremony. On behalf of the Commandant and cadre of the United States Army Drill Sergeant Academy and the graduating class, we thank you for your attendance.